Hey there, quirky folks! I'm your host, Anna, and today we're going to look at the MCU heroes who will be leaving us pretty soon. Phase 4 brought in a ton of characters, but we also lost quite a few of them as Jane Foster perished right as she became Thor. Natasha Romanoff obviously made her final appearance in Black Widow. No Way Home gave us the sad exit of Aunt May. Recently, T'Challa died because of an unknown disease, and even Queen Ramonda got killed. But if you thought that this series of constant deaths is going to stop, then you're wrong. Phase 5 and Phase 6 will continue to retire and kill off many other protagonists. The MCU is loaded with heroes right now, and it will be next to impossible for them to be included in the upcoming Avengers movies. So Marvel will have to downsize a bit by letting a few heroes go, just like they did with Jane Foster. But before we look at who else is going out, it will be nice if you guys could click on those like and subscribe buttons. Be a doll and help support our channel, will you? Okay now, the first ones to leave us could be Scott Lang or Hank Pym. Ant-Man is approaching the third chapter in his trilogy. While that usually doesn't mean the end of a franchise, it could still mean the end of a great journey for Scott Lang. He is about to face the greatest villain of all time. Kang is someone who has already killed so many Avengers in the multiverse. So what is Scott Lang going to do against him? The trailers have suggested that this is not going to be an easy ride for him. And this broken helmet tease from the promos just doesn't bode well for Scott Lang. In fact, it makes us feel very scared for him. Ant-Man has achieved quite a bit in the MCU already. He is currently at a stage where he is very satisfied with what he has achieved. So maybe he could end his journey with a huge sacrifice in Quantumania. His death would come as a gut punch to everyone, but it will add a huge emotional weight to Quantumania. Although, one could also argue that he is crucial for Avengers, the Kang Dynasty, and Secret Wars. And he just came back in his daughter's life, so he ought to spend some more time with her. In that case, I believe that the emotional weight could come from Hank Pym's death. Like Scott Lang, he has also achieved plenty, and no one significant has really perished in an Ant-Man movie so far. Marvel would want to change that with Hank Pym now. It would make more sense for Pym to go out than Scott Lang himself. The next character making his sad exit from the MCU is Rocket Raccoon. The only character who has never died or been dusted so far is Rocket. So, the chances of his demise are insanely high in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. James Gunn stated that this film will be centered on his story as he faces his creator, the High Evolutionary. And the first trailer presented many hints of his presumed death. On top of that, James Gunn is constantly hinting that a major death is headed our way. So, you could hope for Gunn to subvert our expectations by saving this cuddly little rascal. But you can't deny the fact that his chances of surviving Volume 3 are very slim. He could go out by making a sacrifice that takes down the High Evolutionary and saves his family. But he won't be the only Guardian leaving us. There are two other characters who could be retired or killed off. One of those is going to be Drax the Destroyer.
Come on, Drax.
Dave Bautista mentioned that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will be his last movie, and Drax's story arc does seem to be coming to an end. He wanted revenge from Ronan and Thanos for what they did to his family, and he has got that. So, his story could end if he unites with his family in the afterlife. Or maybe if his daughter Moondragon appears for real in the movie, then he could simply retire and go be a dad. Besides Rocket, another character who could die is either Nebula or Mantis. Technically, even the current variant of Nebula hasn't died in the MCU so far, as she only killed her past self in Endgame. So maybe Nebula could be killed off now. But it is also possible that after leading a tragic life throughout, she could get a happy ending with her sister Gamora. And instead of her, it could be Mantis who perishes. She recently revealed that Quill is her half-brother. While that was a heartfelt moment in itself, it could also mean that Mantis would end up dying. Every Guardians movie killed at least one blood relative of Peter Quill. His mother was killed in Volume 1, and his father died in Volume 2. So another one of his family members could be killed off in Volume 3, and that is none other than Mantis. Next up, another character that could make an exit in 2022 is Nick Fury. The old man is returning to Earth in Secret Invasion, but he is confirmed to survive that event because we'll be seeing him in the Marvels. But does he survive the Marvels? Nick Fury may have made his first appearance in Iron Man, but he technically started his journey in Captain Marvel. And Samuel L. Jackson has already appeared in so many MCU movies and done so much as Fury.
Window integrity, 1%. Now!
Maybe after exposing the Skrulls' invasion on Earth, he could also end his journey in a Captain Marvel movie.
Yeah, well, this is different.
While it is kinda obvious that none of the 3 lead heroes will die in the film, it is possible that Nia DaCosta might use Fury as someone to motivate Carol Danvers with his death. He could play the same role that Queen Ramonda did for Wakanda Forever's story, or Aunt May did in No Way Home. I could be wrong about this, but Marvel already has many characters to appear in the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, so maybe Fury won't hold a place in those ranks. Now for the final point in this video, I want to talk about the characters leaving in Secret Wars. Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is coming back in Deadpool 3, but you have to imagine that his final movie will be Avengers Secret Wars. We've all dreamt of seeing Wolverine team up with the OG Avengers, so he could be there to team up with Bruce Banner, Thor, Steve Rogers, Tony Stark, Natasha Romanoff, and Clint Barton. And out of the original Avengers, at least Steve, Tony, Natasha, and Clint will also be making their last appearances. Chris Evans wanted an out, so he got his retirement. But Steve is still around in the MCU, and he has to be back for Secret Wars.
I'm sorry, wait, who are you?
Captain America.
I thought Captain America was on the moon.
Jeremy Renner also has expressed his interest in leaving the MCU, so we reckon that he'd also get his final go in Avengers 6. Tony and Natasha have already perished, so they'll only return to make special cameos as variants. And that will be our last goodbye to those characters. But finally, I'd like to talk about Thor. You'd reckon that Thor would survive until Part 5 and take on Hercules. But Chris Hemsworth recently stated that his next appearance could be his last. So, is he dying in Secret Wars? I don't think that will be the case, but you can't really be sure here. Marvel killed off their biggest superhero in Endgame, so they could do the same with Thor too. Besides these heroes, it will be interesting to see who else ends up dying in Phase 5 and Phase 6. Who do you think is going out? Let us know in the comments. Once again, I leave you with a healthy reminder to click on those like and subscribe buttons if you enjoyed this video. And don't forget to check out some more fun content on our channel. Goodbye, and I'll see you in the next one.